I am going to start off my talk by defining a word I did not know existed, but was very much a living example of conformity. A conformist is a person who behaves in accordance with prevailing standards or customs and typically avoids unconventional behavior. A person who runs with the herd and swims with the tide. I have been an unwilling conformist for the major part of my life. And this is my story of how I broke out of it. But before I delve into how I broke out of this state of mind, I would want to dwell a little on the why part of it. Coming from a typical middle class family with decent grades up until my 12th grade, a path of engineering was predestined for me. Now, to be honest, my lethargy and uh, lack of enthusiasm and research meant that I did not resist this herd movement and just went with the flow. But when you're doing something you don't like for so long, you tend to start hating the journey itself, despite the sort of learnings that come with it. What accompanied bad grades was something even more terrible. The feeling of not being enough, the feeling of being in the wrong place, a very claustrophobic kind of a feeling. And after you're done blaming everyone else for your failure, does it really dawn upon you that the primary reason for your current situation is the act of not thinking for yourself? And when this realization dawned upon me, is when I realized that I would want to forge my own path, that I will not say yes to everything that is predestined. I will make sure that I forge my own path, and that urge had become really prominent. So now that we've covered the why part of it, let me just quickly cut short to what uh, what I feel is a very big problem and not many people are aware of. Every year, more than half a billion Hindus visit temples to pray. Is there an end to the times that we remember God? Happiness, sadness, health and wealth, joy and sorrow, every single thing that comes up, we want God to help us out. We go to temples and offer flowers as a form of our devotion. We offer the purest form of nature. But hardly does anyone think where these flowers go after they have been offered to the gods. Have you really even thought about it? Just by a show of hands, I would like to see if you know what happens to the flowers which are offered to the gods. Uh, yeah, I see not too many hands up. And the answer to this question lies in an age-old Hindi line which says, Tera tujhko arpan. This thought process essentially means that we respectfully give back to you what is yours. So, what really happens is that these sacred flowers are collected and then they are dumped in the river or a water body to respect their sanctity. Because, according to the Hindu traditions, flowers which are offered to the gods cannot be dumped in a garbage bin or a landfill. They have to be given back into water where they sort of are together dumped. Now, just to give you context, we Indians dump over 8 million tons of flowers in our rivers and landfills on a yearly basis. Flowers that are loaded with insecticides, flowers that are loaded with pesticides, flowers that rot, so on and so forth. So these flowers actually end up creating a havoc in the fragile ecosystem of the water bodies. Studies link these flowers and the floral waste that gets dumped into the river as one of the primary reasons for cholera, hepatitis, and diarrhea in over more than 420 million people And I'm just talking about the river Ganga, which flows in the north and the northeastern part of the country. So until 4 years back, I myself did not know anything about this. Right, was blissfully unaware about our uh, our traditions and how they sort of uh, were not really sustainable. Just by a show of hands, how many of you have actually seen the river Ganga? Um, yeah, one can be forgiven to think that it is a very clean, huge river which is constantly flowing and all of that, but that is not the case. It is essentially very polluted. In fact, when I saw Ganga for the first time, I was sort of taken aback, and I uh, was just floored by the amount of pollution that was there in this river. So the story of Fool came about when by during a chance conversation between a friend who was visiting, and he literally just asked us that how can you say that this river is sacred and holy to you when you guys pollute it so much and you guys don't take any care for it. And trust me, so he was from Czech Republic, and he said, I honestly wouldn't even touch this water. It seems really unhygienic, and I see so many people taking a bath. And we were quite dumbfounded by this question, and we said, you know what, we can't really do too much about it. There's a lot of industrial pollution that gets, that is let into the water, and it's something that the government is looking at, and they are taking measures to sort of resolve it. During the same time, we saw a truck full of flowers dump uh, a huge load of flowers in the water body. And in just about 5 minutes, we could see a thin film form on water. And that is when it struck us that was even these flowers, which we felt were organic and would be okay to be dumped in the river, were a major reason for its pollution, were a major reason for its degradation. And that was the moment where we felt that we needed to do something about it. Now, before committing full time to this, I used to work in Bangalore, and I was myself going through a rough patch, so as to speak. While I was working with some really great clients, handling their marketing campaigns, so on and so forth, I wasn't really content. I always felt that there's no sense of purpose. I was not having fun in the things that I was doing on a regular basis. While the salary did come on a monthly basis, it did not really motivate me to push myself, to challenge myself, or to do something better every single day. Now, honestly, when I think about it in retrospect, I think I'd become too comfortable uh, in a comfortable job, working comfortable hours, hanging out with the usual friends, taking the weekends off, so on and so forth. And because I lacked a sense of purpose, I feel it started affecting me and had become a reason for my insomnia. Not having a purpose, not having a challenge which I could give myself completely to was a constant bother. And this not just stunted my growth as an individual, but also set me back professionally by a couple of years, I feel, because I'd gotten so comfortable in doing what I was doing. And now, when you're bogged down by these feelings of not doing enough, not being able to add value to yourself or your organization, you tend to overtly be critical about yourself and end up actually doing nothing. So I ran through the days listlessly, and while every month, as I said, I used to get a remuneration, it did not give me any satisfaction. Now, I always used to consult with respect to food, the idea of upcycling floral waste into uh, a consumer product, but I had not joined full time. And I remember Ankit, who's the founder, and me having a conversation, and he said, "You know what, Apurv? You've been giving me advice for a very long time now. Why don't you come on board and take this completely, take complete ownership of the marketing and sales aspect of our organization?" And this was really sort of a very big question for me because I live in a tier one city with all the comforts of life. And the organization was based in a tier three city, which was not really, um I would say, very welcoming of people from the cities. Was a very small sort of a town, hard set in its own ways. So that was a big question. And I remember uh, thinking about this, and I thought that, okay, fine. What is the worst that could happen? The worst that could happen literally was that we would fail. But what is the best that could happen? Frankly, we had no idea. The upside of actually turning this into a full-fledged movement, making this a brand which could reach so many people across the world, was something which really sort of ignited a spark inside me. And I felt, fine, I would want to try it out for some time. I remember me telling my father that I'm quitting my job and going to upcycle floral waste into incenses. And my father was just super worried, and he said, "Kid, people go to Singapore from Bangalore. They don't really go to Kanpur from Bangalore. So what's really the the whole situation here?" And I remember telling him that I think this is the purpose that I was always looking for, and this would really sort of give me that satisfaction of having to do something of my own, of contributing meaningfully to the environment and the livelihoods of the people who are being associated with us. And yeah, that's the journey of how I just sort of left my well-paying job, came to Kanpur, and started off with Fool. Now, I believe there are two types of satisfaction one can get out of the work one does. One, there is the monetary and the career trajectory satisfaction, which is that you get regular hikes, you get regular appraisals, and then that sort of gives you validation. And that becomes your source of encouragement. And then there is the second joy, which I feel is about having to build something of your own from scratch, of seeing something grow and you playing an active role in it, and struggling through the whole ridicule, struggling through hardships, and seeing your convention actually take shape. So I think that was what really drove me. So yeah, that was how I came into being. I still vividly remember my first few days in IIT Kanpur, sitting with a four-member team, just thinking about how we can start making this product accessible to the audiences, going over trends, reading about huge traditional competitors. And today, as I speak with you, I stand on a record year of sales. And I really can't help but look back on the journey from 2 kg of flowers to more than tons of flowers being upcycled on a daily basis, selling a pack of incense every minute, from two women from the marginalized sections of the community whom we employed as our first employees to about more than 60 women who are working full time with us, who get regular ESI, PF, employee benefits, who have health insurances. From battling disbelief, ridicule, and statements like, "Will you now sell incenses? I mean, what good is your engineering degree for it?" To being an organization which is being covered by Business Insider as one of the most innovative solutions to worldwide waste management. Uh, the journey has been pretty eventful, I feel. Uh, every day is a happy struggle. Just yesterday, we were fighting about a few lapses from in reporting between marketing and accounting. And today, everyone from our organization I know is listening to this talk, cheering me on. That's the sort of energy that comes with having a purpose, I feel. I have driven an Ola when I had to rush for a meeting, and the driver was unsure of the road. I'm sorry, I think it was an Uber, yeah. And I literally just told him that just move. We need to be at this meeting at this particular time. And we've slept on office floors out of exhaustion, and we've celebrated every small win with equal enthusiasm. We've also braved a pandemic together. 3 months of zero cash flows, existential crisis, whether this business would survive, sacrifices the team made by letting go of, what can one say, by letting go of their salaries for 3 months, just to ensure that the women who work with us get their salaries, and the knowledge that we could create a sustainable impact in the lives of women who work with us is one of the greatest joys that we derive out of it. Uh, just to share a few stories with you, Shabana has been working with us for 3 years now. She's 23 now. She's supporting a family of three, is pursuing her master's degree, and at the same time is now a supervisor in our factory. Has grown through the ranks. Preeti, who says that I have huge dreams for my daughter, the kind of dreams that nobody had for me. To Kirti, who is earning money for her entire family, is the sole breadwinner and has a passion for dance, and sort of gives her Sundays to learning dance on the TV, which she bought from her own earnings. I think Fool has not just provided a new lease of life to the flowers which get dumped in the rivers, to the women who were first in menial, jobs in daily labor, but also it has given me personally the most important thing, the ability to believe in myself and to take unconventional decision, and most importantly back it with all my effort. I think Fool has helped me escape mediocrity, a comfortable life which was not helping me in any way, and giving me the opportunity to trust my own capabilities. My work is not just about cleaning the waste on land. I believe it is also about uplifting myself to greater things and greater challenges. With that, I would like to end my talk. Thank you so much.